Alright, so recently Ross Boomsocks and Solo Renekton only found out about Amumu's Liandrys and Frozen Heart passive. The thing is that they're calling it a bug. It's not a bug. It's been around forever. It's been around, and the devs actually had commented before and said that it was okay. That was planned because attack speed slow is still a slow, and that's why Liandry's passive procs on it. But it's already been on the forums. I mean, it's already been on the wiki. Right here, we got a forum post from 5 years ago. My own personal forum post from 4 years ago. We have 3 years ago somebody else talking about it here. And we had, where's it at? I build it on tanks and pair it with Frozen Heart. Fun fact, Frozen Heart passive counts as movement impairment. And all the way back on the old forums in 2014. As long as the enemy is in the aura range for Frozen Heart, any ability you use on them will cause a doubled burn for the full 3 seconds, which allows a much greater range of champions to use it to maximum effectiveness. Liandry's and Frozen Heart interaction submitted 2 years ago, and you know, it's about time that people started figuring this shit out. You gotta look at the forums, you gotta look at the wiki, you gotta read through these items, or you're gonna get destroyed by the people who actually look through them. So right now I'm going to take you through some old builds of mine that I still use and some new builds. This one right here is my classic tank build. Leona, Cho'Gath, Malphite, Alistar, Blitzcrank, Galio, Maokai, Nunu, and Nautilus. Basically anything with AP ratios that's a tank. You could take this on Gragas probably. But you want Rod of Ages for boosting your health and mana up at the start of the game. I usually pick up my magic resist first, but that's negotiable. Grab a Sunfire Cape, and you're focusing on your tank stats at the beginning, and then at the end of the game, you pick up the Frozen Heart and Liandrys for that power spike. Now, when you're playing like a Mumu and Malphite and Nunu, you could probably go for this build right here, which is the one that people are starting to use now that Ross and Solo are popularizing it. It's very simple. Now, one of the things to know about this is that even though I pair Sunfire Cape with Liandrys and Frozen Heart, the Sunfire does not count as AP damage for the purpose of Liandrys. However, Abyssal Mask will increase the damage of Sunfire around you, but it won't work for these other ones. Now, if we go down a little farther, this is my melee bruiser build. Now, there's not a Frozen Heart in here because you usually don't need it. This is a similar item interaction that people actually know about, though, where the more HP that you stack, you get more damage from your Titanic Hydra. So you're basically just going full tank without it. That's a common build. Everybody knows that. These builds right here should be the AP versions, and the fact that people aren't building this is really disappointing. Right here, this one kind of moves more towards AP casters. Specifically, this is my favorite Vel'Koz build, because you have so much mana, and 9 times out of 10, you're facing a Zed, Yasuo, some Talon, AD Assassin scrub who's just picked up the character because he looks like Ezio from Assassin's Creed. You know, they're here because their champion looks cool and they can jump around the map. But this will shut them down super easily, because you're going to get tanky from this, and you're going to get a whole bunch of armor from this, and you're going to have a shitload of spells to sling at them. I would finish it up with a Death Cap, just to add some more AP damage on top of that, but really whatever you want is your last item. If you haven't won by now, you probably don't deserve to win. Then at the bottom here, this is my new build that I've been using for AD carries in mid lane, specifically versus Talon, Zed, and that third AD assassin whose name I don't remember. But you're running basically the AD version of this. You're taking Iceborne Gauntlet to reduce their incoming damage onto you. And again, we're taking Frozen Heart, but we're not pairing it with Liandrys here. And the reason why is because that attack speed's slow, and the armor is just so strong against assassins, because everybody's building lethality right now, and nobody actually knows how lethality works. They're just like, oh, I build lethality, I kill enemies. That's not how it works. Read the items, figure it out for yourself. Especially with Death Stance. Death Stance provides damage reduction. That is so much more useful than Bloodthirster's Shield. If you're getting bursted, Death Stance. If you're taking damage over time, Death Stance. It will reduce your incoming damage, and you can heal through it. With all this armor here, if you're facing a full AD team, you're just going to be all set. Now, specifically, you want to run a rune page focused around Dark Harvest if you're going to be doing something like this, because you are going to need some help to finish those kills. You're not going to have as much damage until you really finish this Manamune. But once you get all of this mana, your Manamune is going to kick in and give you a bunch of extra damage from your mana. And refunds 15% of mana spent. So heavy spam characters like Jhin, Sivir, and Jinx are going to be phenomenal with this build. Now, you could use this build on a champion like Senna as well, but really, Senna needs to stack up her passive to like get her crit maxed as quickly as possible. I'm sure somebody's going to crucify me for building 0% critical rate on Jhin, but there's no reason to build critical rate on Jhin when you're going for a build like this. You're basically playing as a ranged bruiser. You're not playing as an AD carry when you're doing this. You're playing a ranged bruiser caster, like Urgot. But anyway, back to Senna. With Senna, her spells don't really seem to cost as much mana, and she has so much built into her kit that you really should just go for Death Stance and then Runaan's Hurricane. Because by the time you're on your second or third item is around the time that team fights are going to start happening, and you want to stack up your passive as much as possible. You should be poking the enemy team, and Runaan's will actually apply the debuff on enemies so that your next auto attack on them will give you a soul, whatever the fuck they're called. They'll give you a soul, they'll give you and the second round of arrows. So if you auto attack twice and you hit the same person with your two little Runaan's bolts, those will bring in, up to 3 souls on 2 auto attacks. It's a very, very useful item with her, and because of the rest of her kit, then you can just go tanky after that. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to close this video out before my dogs start barking. Nope, too late. Alright, well, I guess we're going to go ahead and end it there. Bye-bye.